It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen, brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, and Death Before Decaf. It's a show where body piercing artists and tattoo artists sit down and answer the most common questions about piercing, tattooing, and other body modifications. In this episode, number 13, we discussed how tattoos and piercings are priced and what you would need to supply to your artist to get a price. So let's join the conversation between DaVo, Jack, Lowe, and Westley Dickerson as they answer this question. What does an artist need to know about the design before they price the tattoo or piercing?
A lot. I mean, the more information the better, generally, but size and location is definitely what it is. How about that? That's the first thing. Your name and what you want.
So surprised how many people that just don't even think to tell you what they want. They'll tell you maybe everything else, but what do you want? And half the time they don't fucking know.
I love an email coming into emails, and the only thing it'll say is, "I need a tattoo." And there won't be any name, description, anything, no date, just I need a tattoo.
And to touch on that, like the fewer times we have to go back and forth with you to get to the fucking point, the longer it's going to take for you to get your tattoo. So as long as you have our fucking attention, man, tell us fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you want, send us reference pictures. Like if you want a dragon and you got 6 different dragons because you like the wings on that one, the head on that one, the claws on that one, the position on that one, fucking awesome. Send it. Don't be shy at all. Even if you've got a scribble literally on a napkin, fucking take a picture of it with your cell phone and send it. So I'm sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, I think that's exactly right.
But yeah.
What it is the first thing, and a lot of people don't know what they want.
Yeah.
So have an idea what you want.
We are like fertile soil waiting for a seed.
Yes.
Your seed is your idea. So bring an idea to our fertile soil and then plant it, and don't infer any sexual things because that's not that kind of show. Plant your sexual seed deep in our fertile valley and we will blossom a wonderful piece of art for you. But we need the seed. We are only half without
we're just the vessel.
The seed. And the more rich that seed with information, guess what?
Because the information is like the pollinizing.
Yep.
And the better that fruit's going to taste.
Is it?
Where you want it on your body, how big, those are also really useful things.
Maybe even an idea, sometimes, because, sometimes people kind of have a budget they want to work in.
Yep.
And sometimes people have a very big mind and a smaller budget.
Yep.
And if a budget is kind of a factor in it, let us know that
Throw
to
that out
begin
there
with
first.
Before we spend, an hour reading about this Zoltan sleeve and the hierarchy of this thing and the book series you read was so great and it changed your life and you only got about $60 to spend. So, which I get it, man. I get it. But, just use your time wisely. And while you got our attention, give us everything you can.
If you only got $60, I'll find a way to make that work with you. It's
Right.
going to take longer, but we'll work together.
Yeah.
As long as you're up front with me and say, this is what it is.
Totally. Because you know what? Even sometimes, and I probably shouldn't say this, and maybe hopefully we'll get edited out. But sometimes, the idea is really, really dope. And it's just right. It just fits that cog that you've been wanting to put in there, and you're willing to give a little bit more for what they're willing to give. And so, be honest with what you want and all that. And if it's cool enough and you're easy enough to work with and, and we get along good and we can come up with something that's super dope that's going to make you super happy and me super happy, then, let me know. But really, don't be shy. Just a lot of emails start like, hey, I want to get a tattoo. Or this is a popular one. They'll send a picture that they found on Pinterest or something.
How much is this?
Exactly. How much is this? Well, what do you want? And how big do you want it? Where do you want it? Do you want it colored? Do you want it redrawn? Are we covering something with it?
Yep.
That's very important. Placement and all that really make a difference in how much time it's going to take.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we need to know before we can schedule you. So it's not just all we need to know is somebody wants a tattoo, because some tattoos take 25 minutes, some tattoos take 25 hours. So we need to know how much of the day that we're going to need to accommodate you.
And see, I think that's partly what people don't understand. It's like every tattoo artist nowadays has an hourly rate,
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of them, they get this idea of, we've all had that taxi ride in a foreign city. You know, the taxi ride where you get in the ride and you're like looking over the seat at the meter because you have absolutely know how much this thing's going to cost, but you only got $30 in cash.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know, it's
meter anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people don't understand that you're going to give them kind of a ballpark estimate of how much time it's going to take and what that overall piece is going to cost. Sometimes it'll come out a little bit lighter. Sometimes it'll come out maybe just a tad bit heavy, but usually it's right on.
You know, and I was going to kind of use the analogy, it's not like building a deck, but in a way it really is. So you hire a contractor to build a deck, they do the calculations, it's going to cost me $1,000 for material, so I double that to cover my time. It's going to be $2,000 for me to build a deck. Okay, fucking great. You start building the deck, you run into something, you've got rock a foot down. I'm going to need to rent a machine that's going to go through this rock. It's going to be another $400. Fuck. Okay, fine. So there you go. You know, things change. So you can only give so much of an idea. And a lot of times the customer will kind of shift gears. And in their mind, it's not a big deal. But to us, we have to redraw the whole foundation because that room that you just added on shifts the fucking weight of everything, and in our heads now we've got to reimagine it, so it can be kind of a big deal.
Yep. Yeah, I was just saying in my experience, and I've seen it with tons of clients here, the ones who tend to be the happiest with the pieces are not the ones who don't have meter anxiety, as we were saying there, because they, even if it takes longer to get their appointments together in a timely fashion, and there's bigger spans of time between them, they save up a little bit more money than they think is that appointment's worth, because it takes that anxiety away throughout the entire tattoo. They know, all right, I've set up enough time for $350, or his hourly rate is this, and it equals $350. I've saved up an extra $50, $400. So just in case we run over for time for a little bit, I've got that extra bit or whatever. Everything's that worry is away. Yeah. You kind of just a little bit of wait time, save up a little buffer. And they're usually the ones who generally lose track of how much they're spending on their tattoo, and we end up doing a much cooler tattoo. Right. You know, they throw that extra $100 into the overall quoted price or quoted hourly price, and and you go through and you do all those little touch-ups and cleanups and things like that. It just makes everything tie in way better. Yeah. And because they don't, And don't forget too that, I mean, as the client, you set up as much time as you want, as often as you want for the most part. You know, there's sometimes I say, you know, on that kind of piece, really scheduling any less than 2 hours, you really can't get any momentum and anything done. And there's nothing no real chunk of this I can do in 2 hours to get to a finishing point. But for the most part, if you look at your budget and you're like, well, I've got $300 a month I can spend, so I'm going to come in for 2.5, 3 hours every, then perfect, great. Exactly, I know what you're after. I'll give you that much work, and I'll see you next time. And then there's no, meter anxiety and all that too. So the ones who kind of plan it in, but I'd say to wrap up this question, I suppose, just what it is and how big and where just at. Be detailed. I mean, on first contact, be willing and ready to give as much, whether it's on the phone or through an email. Don't just make a ripple in the water. Fucking jump in and say, hey, I want to get this. I'm looking to get it around this time. Because then our next question is going to be, after we know what you want, when do you want to get it? So if you put that in there too, fucking great. You're so far ahead of all these other people that are ping-ponging back and forth through emails. That can take days sometimes. I mean, our girls are fucking on it, and they're really, really good, and they're there all day doing it. But sometimes, if it gets technical, or if there's a bunch of technical emails going on, it slows everything down. So if you got all of that in there, what you want, where you want it, how big, what you're willing to spend, about the time frame that works for you, or days of the week that work, you are so far ahead. Then our first email back will be roughly this much cost. We've got this time open. Will that work for you? So your second email is confirming the appointment rather than 4 or 5 emails. Absolutely. So anyway.
Well, we should probably mention at some point. This episode is brought to you in part by Death Before Decaf.
Oh man. And we are drinking the Dude.
The Dude. Yeah. It's a white Russian kind of flavor. It's so good.
Yeah, if you like flavored coffees, Death Before Decaf, it's like a Iowa-based place, and man, they just have they always come out with new flavors, and they're always just super fun and great. So if you like flavored coffees, you got to give them a try. They're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
They're on werbsite. And we'll
everything.
have those all listed in the the description down
Give you
below.
a linky.
Down there.
All right.
It's a ways down, and you have to hit that arrow if you're on your phone.
Yeah,
Hit the
If you
arrow.
like, it'll probably pop up.
Yeah. Or if
Right.
the worst
Give it
comes
a
to
try.
worse, email us. We'll be happy to send that off to you. My take on it, it's very important to have all that information up front. I mean, when you were doing the 2 months on
throw
1
at,
month off,
you know,
that
quarter
was like the biggest thing
sleeve,
we push in.
you're going to be able to get
if
more
you want a response,
detailed,
you
you're
got to
going to
have this
Yeah.
time on it.
Yeah.
Opposed to
time wasting
I've got
is just not
$80.
necessary.
Plus,
That's
it's going to
gonna
be
be
like,
like,
okay, I can understand that if you have a budget kind of to work with,
Well, I'm just using it
it's
as a
going to
window
affect
for
the
it.
design.
With piercing,
And
it's
they
kind of
come
an
in and say, I've got
entirely
a
different
different
element or elephant, because you have like a product, jewelry that price stays consistent, and then you have the difficulty of the piercing itself, and the person's anatomy, and usually it's just a flat rate. As I've gotten older, the more I've realized that I need to start changing my prices for more difficult piercings to be more costly.
Yeah.
But that's the way that works. It's not like you guys where it's like, oh yeah, dragon here, $50 every time.
Right,
You know, you
yeah.
can't do that because there's
There's more
too much.
than one type of dragon,
Yeah, exactly.
and there's more than one type of wrist.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And I always tell people when they're asking, I'm like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to get. I always say, create your dream journal. Take photos,
Yeah.
everything, slap it in a folder and send it to us, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, grab a coffee, sit down at the computer, create a new folder on your desktop, name it Tattoo Ideas, and just start clicking through Google Images or Pinterest or your favorite sites or whatever. And when you see an image that grabs you, even if you don't know why, if you like it, just grab it and throw it in the folder.
Yeah, it's
You
like a
know?
wish list.
Then once you get that folder built up, you can start clicking through that folder.
Yep.
And then you can start narrowing that down. Going, I don't know why I grabbed that. That's my,
Yeah.
And then the more you go back to that folder, those images are you're gonna start notice which ones are grabbing you, which ones not. And then maybe you kind of have a starting point. If you always saw yourself with kind of a big sleeve and you've got a folder with 15, 20 designs in it, and you've got some money that you're ready to spend, make a console.
Yep.
That's probably
Do
about
that.
enough to get you going.
You have 15 different sleeves. Let the artist take a look, because he can probably narrow down the style that you're looking at better than you can,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
To buy those 15 different ones.
Because some people, it almost, if you super simplify it, it almost falls into two categories. There's people that get the tattoo because of it; they want that image, and then there's people that get tattooed because they love wearing tattoos and just want to be covered, and they just want it to look cool. And a lot of times they leave that to us. Because they look at us as, well, you probably know kind of overall what looks better on the human body. I want to look like these people look when they're wearing their tattoos. We get that. So we can take kind of, we'll get to know you. Okay, you're a kind of a Viking lineage. You like that kind of stuff. So then we can get a feel and we can start doing it. So it really depends on what kind of person you are and which avenue you're going.
On that line, and going back to the last question too, in fact, I just got an email just yesterday that was, I need a tattoo,
Right.
and no names or anything like that. And so I replied back and just said, these are the information. And for people who are doing that, it's another question I've started including in, is this a cut and dry tattoo that's already printed off something, or is this a custom piece? And that's something I throw in with the information too, when you reply back and show me your ideas and whatnot. Do you want me to custom draw something, or are you going to send me a picture and you want me to draw that exact one? Because I can
Right.
recopy something easily.
Yeah.
But if you want me to if that's an image and you want me to say tweak it and make it my own,
It
tell
puts you
me
in a
that.
different category as far as time that it's going to take.
Exactly.
And really it's that simple. How much time? Is it something I can just throw into my iPad? I can clean it up. I can add Betty Sue through it, and it's good. Or is this something that you're throwing me 5 or 6, 8, 10, 12 images, and I'm having to put together practically a piece of clothing for you that you're going to wear for the rest of your life. You're going to look good in until the day you die.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's like, I had somebody a couple of weeks ago, I was up at the counter and going through something, and they were, why is it only $50 to get that tattoo of that name on my neck, but his dragon's going to be like $800? And it's like, well, it's because we can go into the computer, pick out a font for you, print it out, maybe adjust the angle and everything else, and then slap it on you and it's done. It isn't going to involve the two of you sitting down on the iPad for
for maybe
Hours and
3,
hours.
4 hours, redesigning it and transferring that idea into something that's going to work on the skin.
To possibly show
Before
it to
you-
you and have you go, nah.
Yep.
And have to do it again. So, and we're willing to do that.
Yeah.
And that happens less the more details we have and the more you realize what camp you're in.
Yeah.
Are you in the camp that, okay, you're coming to us as a professional tattooer to look at your idea and come together as a team to figure out the best way to make that happen? Or are you coming in here hiring a worker that you're going to whip around and say, this is exactly what I want, this is how I fucking want it done? And
Customer copy.
Well,
we can work, customer copy, and we can work with both, but you have to realize what you are, so we can realize what we're working with, so we can give you the best product.
Absolutely.
Which works really into your contractor analogy, because are you the contractor? Are you doing the contracting yourself?
Right.
Or are you, and hiring a laborer? Or are you hiring a contractor to complete the whole job?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. That's a good analogy too. And some people are more comfortable stepping away from the helm a little bit and hiring a driver so they can just sit back and enjoy the ride. But some people, no, they're gonna have their hand on the wheel with you, because you know what? It's my ship. I know but this is mine. Okay, and I'm not just gonna give you full reign, which is okay too, but it does change the dynamic a bit. It does kind of put a different spin on the things, which is great, but just knowing kind of how it relates on our end of it, so we can give you the best, example.
And this is kind of off the beaten line. This is probably another question in itself, but have you ever done a tattoo at a lower price just because you were jazzed to do it?
Yeah. I think every artist on the planet has done that.
Pretty much your
And it's to our detriment, because people start to, expect it almost like, hey, you got something you've just been dying to do
It's part of
for free,
Part of growing up, the first half of your career, not first half, because some people tattoo for 50 years, but the first couple of years of your career, your apprenticeship and everything is building your portfolio.
You're a whore. You're
exactly
a whore.
that.
You're a fucking ink whore.
And it sucks
you're
because once you
laying
get
there with your legs open, man.
5, 10, 15, 20 years into tattooing, you're still tattooing on people. You are still tattooing on people you've tattooed on for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've seen them walk through the door. They say, I used to get tattooed by you back when you were in the old shop.
Yeah.
And they've been coming around and they're like, oh, you still hook it up? Because we're old pals?
Right.
No,
Like, man.
no. I have to pay bills now, and I'm really
As I
I
put
don't want
it-
to be arrogant, but I'm good enough to pay for. Please just don't waste my time.
As I
Right,
put it
so-
to clients, it's like, are you making the same
But-
amount of money that you were making 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, no, you aren't.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes there's the occasional piece that is super awesome, or client that's super awesome that I'll knock off a couple of bucks just because I enjoy that piece and I enjoy looking for them, and I know maybe they can't get their. So there was a hiccup. I don't know. It doesn't happen very often.
Edit.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but occasionally it happens.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
tattoo up just
It
because
does
they're-
happen, but you know what? The
Not very
busier you
often.
get, and maybe sometimes because you do that, you have less time to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
as you get further,
It kind of
into your
eats its
career,
own
I think-
tail, But yeah, it's to our own detriment. I mean, because we're only devaluing our own product when we just throw it out there. But at the same time, we do this because we fucking love it.
Yeah.
And part of me wishes I didn't have to take money for it, but I fucking do, because this is the world.
Yep.
And there's times when you do it because you love it, and you get an opportunity to do it, because it's not like we can just sit at home and tattoo by ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to have a willing participant. So if we got a willing participant and they're willing to do something we've been wanting to do forever and ever and ever, or we've just got this, man, we just know we've got this thing and we just need a piece of skin to do it on, and you're willing, fuck yeah, it'll happen. But never forget, there's a long line of people willing to get that tattoo. So
Plus, on top of that,
you're not an individual when you go, hey, I'm willing to let you just give me a
Yeah.
tattoo. There's a lot of those. So anyway,
And
It's
on
a
top of that,
rare thing for any reason.
on top of that, if somebody is giving you a break, you should tip them.
oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And that's just the way life is.
Yeah.
Especially if they've done a fantastic job and you really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the whole point of it.
it's a gratitude. Yeah, it's just to show you that, man. Yeah, just that little extra is awesome. Especially if you're kind of, helping them out, and it's not like they're not helping you out too, because like I said, you want to do that design or whatever, so they're stepping up too. But yeah, a tip is always great, and that can involve pints or boxes or barrels of alcohol, automobiles, airplanes, very expensive clothing, jewelry. I mean, the list goes on and on. It doesn't have to be
Illegal
cash.
substances, don't bother with that.
Absolutely not. No bartering.
I've had that happen to me 3 or 4 times, and I'm sorry. You know, I'm sure it's disappointing somebody, but I've had a pile about this big once left on my desk, and it went promptly down the toilet.
Jeez,
because I don't do that.
No, yeah, that's a no. Don't come and say it was like VCRs and shit. I'm talking about like, you know,
car stereos.
Yeah, like no, it's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking as like a tip, you know. It's like, hey man,
we don't want what you couldn't sell at the pawn shop.
Right? No, not at all. I'm full up on VCRs at this point.
And I've gotten some cool tips, like, you know, some original art and stuff. That
they've
given me.
Oh, I've gotten incredible. Some of the stuff I've
T-shirts.
hang on my walls, and I've got stuff all over the place that people have brought in and to show gratitude.
Things to make your station look cooler is always a good thing.
Stuff to dust, man.
Yes.
Bring us stuff to dust. We love it.
Yep.
I'm all about trinkets that just look cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, oh God, I almost said something that would have.
Everybody's laughing now.
Woo!
All right.
You have been listening to Q&A in the Kitchen, recorded live at the Skin Kitchen Tattoo, located in Des Moines, Iowa. Those on the panel were DaVo from the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, Jack Lowe from Skin Kitchen Tattoo, and Westley Dickerson from the Skin Kitchen. If you'd like to see further episodes, please stay tuned. We'll be posting more in the future, and do subscribe. If you would like to watch the video version of this, go over to our YouTube channel. We post these every other Sundays. You can subscribe there and not miss one episode. So until next time, have a good day and happy piercing and tattooing. And if you're in the Des Moines area, we all hope to see you for your tattooing and piercing needs in the future.